Okay, I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. We live in a world where there are various different ways of parenting. Now, this happens because the parents have a widespread information platform regarding which parenting suits their interests. Now, in today's debate, we are taking a look at two types of parenting. The first one being helicopter parenting, which means promoting the children's independence and reducing parental supervision. The second one is helicopter parenting, which is excessive parental supervision and control on the children's everyday life. Now, we as middle-income parents would prefer free-range parenting over helicopter parenting because this will suit the middle-income parents' interests and their capability better than helicopter parenting. Now, note that in helicopter parenting, and free-range parenting, the parents love their children equally. So opposition cannot tell you that helicopter parents give more affection to their children than free-range parents. Now moving on, the burden of proof in our side is to prove that why free-range parenting is better and more suitable to middle-income parents. So opposition needs to prove on why helicopter parenting is more suitable and more beneficial for the middle-income parents. Now our context is that first, free-range parenting will let their children unmonitorized or slightly monitorized, as in asking them where they are or when they will come home. Now, second is that helicopter parenting means that parents would overprotect and oversupervise their children, like using security cameras, tracking devices, or etc. Now, this might sound accusing to helicopter parents, but helicopter parenting means excessive levels of involvement and control in the child's everyday life. So our accusation is reasonable. Before I move on to my argument, I would like to compare these two parenting ways head to head. The first one is helicopter. Helicopter needs a lot of budget. They need a lot of time. In helicopter, parents are also involved in every important decision that the child makes. Now in free range, this needs minimum budget, and this also takes very little of the parents' time, and this also leaves the child to experience and learn to choose their own decisions instead of parents deciding for them. Now in this debate, I will bring four arguments. The first one is the limited resources that the middle class parents have. The second one is why is free-range parenting can be used to teach independence and responsibility. The third one is with free-range parenting, children will get comfortable discussing sensitive matter. The fourth one is this will limit the friction in the family. Now moving on to my first argument, that is the limited resources of middle-income parents. Now helicopter parenting is a way of parenting that needs a lot of resources coming from the parent. Middle parents does not have the money or the time as much as the typical rich families parents who use helicopter parenting. Now what I mean by not having the money is that they don't have the money lying around to adapt to the helicopter parenting. So they do not have the extra cash to buy, like I said earlier, about helicopter parents needing security cameras, tracking devices, or etc. This is because those middle class parents only have a salary that is usually above or the same as minimum wage. So they cannot spend it on stuff that is what we think unnecessary. Why unnecessary? It's because the children of the middle income families doesn't have the capability to do things that are bad for them. To give you a better image, I will give you an example. But before I move on, trigger warning, it can trigger a few people. What I mean is these children does not have the money to do what's bad for them. For example, like drinking too much alcohol or hiring a prostitute. So even if they did these bad things, this is not exclusively caused by the way of free-range parenting. This is caused by several factors like their environment, their friends, or etc. And one of the reasons it is unnecessary, it is because those children in middle-class families knows that if they want to have a better future, with all due respect, than their parents, then they would need to study harder and take lessons, for example. So we think that most children would use their allowance on good stuff such as books, lessons, or etc. So in conclusion, to my first argument, that there is no urgency for middle-income parents to excessively control their children because they don't have the money to do bad things anyway. The parents doesn't give them much money. For example, like $100 a month, for example. It's not enough to buy alcohol or to hire a prostitute. Now, my second argument is why is free-range parenting can be used to teach independence and responsibility. Now, with free-range parenting, the kid will have an allowance every single month. They need to take responsibility for their action because the parent does not make the decisions for them, they make it for themselves, and they would learn more skills and be more sociable. When in helicopter parenting, the children needs to ask for money every time they want something, and they also get little to no responsibility because the parents is always making every important decision in their life, and they would have less skill and social communication skills because in free range parenting, parents would let their children go out a lot of the time, while in helicopter parenting, parents would supervise everything so their children cannot freely go out. And when in free range parenting, the children can learn to socialize with more people and to attend more parties or to attend more social gatherings. So this can increase the scale of communication levels. Now, the third one is children will get comfortable discussing sensitive matter. Why is that? Because in free range parenting, parents will be more open about the mistakes that the children make because it is not the parent that make the decisions, it is their children. And the parents in free range parenting wants their children to take responsibility. So we think that they will be more open and the children will be more open to discussing it with them because they know they will not get yelled at for the mistakes that they did, but they will discuss it in the responsible manner. But if in helicopter parenting, these parents that control every single important decision of their child's life, if the child makes a big mistake, for example, like non-safe sex, they got somebody pregnant or something, we think that these parents would have a rage. Instead of talking it out with the kid, they would be angry and they would be in a rage with the kid. So this will make the children not comfortable on discussing sensitive matter in helicopter parenting. Now, the fourth one is this will limit the friction in the family. Why is this? It is because when in a free range parenting, the children has more opportunity to play with their friends, has more opportunity to go on social gathering and parties, and this reduces their level of stress after a hard days of work in school. But in helicopter parenting, parents always give them curfews. You need to be home at 9 when the party literally goes on to 12 o'clock. And for example, in helicopter parenting, parents also limit who they hang out with, what kind of hangouts, no parties, no alcohol, and etc. And this can lead the kid to feel missing out with their friends, missing out time with their friends, missing out the experience that they did not have in the first place. So this can make the children stress, and when the children stress, they will debate and they will be mad at their parents, and this can cause friction in the family. I think that is it. Thank you. And by the way, this is not my personal opinion, this is just for the sake of the debate.